how's it going, guys? We are here again for Friday edition of the West Coast Madden Podcast this time. Um, we do plan to keep the date on Thursday, but had some discrepancies as usual, which I'm sure you guys know, and the people that have been listening to us so far, we appreciate you for the patience and continuing to support the channel and everything. Which, by the way, we're getting pretty close to 3,000 subscribers, I think. We're at like 2.71 right now, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're getting pretty close, so I do appreciate that. But Shane, how have you been doing these last couple
Uh,
weeks?
I've been doing decent, man. I gotta have back surgery in the next month, so depending on how everything goes, we might have to go on hiatus for a couple months, but I'm hoping
Yeah,
not. I'm hoping that I'll be able to lay on the couch do the do the podcast.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So, okay, I say we hop straight into it. So. I know Shane, you're a Seahawks fan, and I'm sure you're well aware of the talk that's been going on social media about Russell Wilson possibly wanting to be traded and all that stuff. So let me know what you're thinking about that whole situation.
I personally don't think he gets traded this year. I think have to be like next year or something where the cap hit is a little bit less, unless a team wants to eat cap, or nothing will happen. But I think if he gets traded, it'll be next year. It won't be this year. It is sure interesting watching tweets from former Seahawks though about the whole thing. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know if like Russ is like hated by his former teammates, or if they hate the front office or what, because Doug Baldwin put out a tweet that said, I pray the real live forever," or whatever, and it's a song lyric, and the next lyric is, and the lies get exposed or whatever, or the fakes get exposed, something like that. And then
yeah,
Jermaine Kearse did like a holy crap face, like minding my business right here. And then Sherman did like his mouth closed with a zipper, the emoji.
yeah.
So that it's interesting what people think. Honestly, I don't know what's going on, but supposedly Russell Wilson wanted to change the offense up, and Pete Carroll didn't want to listen to him, and he stormed out. And that was like during the start of the struggles for Seahawks. So I have no idea what's going on, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've heard and from what I've seen other people talk about it, it kind of seems like a passive aggressive type of thing where it's like he's not saying, I want to trade, demanding a trade or nothing like that. It's more of a passive aggressive type of thing where he might be fed up because didn't he have problems with his offensive linemen and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So do you think that when they get back it's gonna be like in the longest yard when they just let them when they just let them like come through and then sack them?
Shoot, I don't know, man. That would be crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
I just that Super Bowl against the Patriots ruined everything. To be fair, everybody turned against everybody. It was the defense versus the offense, coaches versus player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was crazy.
So who do you think? I mean, if Russell Wilson leaves, like, how would that affect you? I mean, as a fan, because for me, I think that other than Steve Largent, probably Russell Wilson is probably like the greatest player that's ever been on the Seahawks.
I
So
mean, I was a fan a long time before him. I'll be a
Yeah.
fan a long time after him. So, I mean, it sucked, but it is what it is. Like, man, I was a fan when the Seahawks had the worst QBs of all time. I was a fan when they were
Yeah.
2-14. I mean, so to me, it's like, yeah, that sucked, but like, life goes on. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah. Who's your guys' backup quarterback right now? Do you know?
Geno Smith.
I was gonna say Geno Smith. I thought that it sounded familiar. Um, didn't he used to play? He used to play for the Jets, right,
Yep.
as a starter back in the day. So
Yeah, he
yeah,
used to play for the Jets,
yeah.
and
So
now he's a backup for the Seahawks. But I think I could see the Seahawks trading for like Taysom Smith or Taysom Hill, excuse me,
right.
and a couple draft picks, and Russell will go in over there.
Do you think Russell Wilson will still be successful outside of Seattle?
Yeah, I do. I just
Yeah,
think he's a Hall of Fame QB. Now, will he be
yeah,
a little worse or a little better? Only time will tell. You know what I mean? If that ever
yeah,
happens. Like, if he doesn't get traded for like 5, 6 years and he's 39 and, goes somewhere else, that's too hard to tell. He's old. Not everybody's Brady. Um, if he gets traded this year or next year and he's healthy, then we'll get a C. And then the pro Pete fans or the pro Russell Wilson fans will get to see who was holding who back. Kind of like, the whole discussion with is Brady a GOAT without Belichick.
yeah. I mean, it's a little bit different in this situation. People think that the Seahawks kind of was like a flash in the pan type of thing, where it's like they were good for like the couple of years they won a Super Bowl, obviously. Um, but then after, like you said, against the Patriots, it seemed like things were kind of falling apart then. But
I think if they would have ran the ball, let's just say, right,
yeah,
Marshawn Lynch fumbles, Marshawn Lynch gets stopped. I
yeah,
don't think it affects him as much as the interception at the 1 yard line. I think a lot of the players like Marshawn Lynch better than Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson. I think they think Marshawn
yeah,
Lynch is more real. And the thing is, it's funny because, like, if you're a Pete Carroll fan, you'll be like, no, the defense hates Russell Wilson. And then if you're a Russell Wilson fan, you'll be like, no, the defense had problems with Pete Carroll. And it's a little bit of both, to be honest. Like, Michael Bennett, a couple other guys said that it gets boring being in Pete Carroll's locker room after a while because the same rah-rah stuff he's going to say. It's boring.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
cool for the first couple of years, but then after it sucks. And then you got people that were trying to fight, Russell Wilson afterwards, talking about like players like Richard Sherman, or talking about how they think that he gets treated different, or he's not black enough, like one of the reports came out.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just don't think that they really care for either one of them once they lost. I really think that if they handed the ball to Marshawn Lynch and he fumbled the ball like he did in other games before, I don't think the friction would have happened in the locker room. Because after that Super Bowl loss, one of the star players broke his hand punching a wall. Uh, they
Oh,
were
in the
yep,
Super Bowl, in the
yep.
Super Bowl.
After
Oh,
the Super
okay.
Bowl
Okay.
loss, supposedly one of the star players on defense
Punched
punched
the
his hand through
wall,
the
and
wall.
then broke his hand after that.
Yep, broke his hand after that. Players were trying to get at coaches. Coaches were trying to get at players. Players were arguing with each other. Players were saying Pete Carroll wanted Russell Wilson to be the MVP, to be the star instead of Marshawn Lynch because how they act. I mean, it was a crap show, man. I mean, and I was like, that's it, it's over. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a flash in the pan. Like if they would have scored, like they would have thrown the slant play, scored, and then you know They win the Super Bowl. Do they win another Super Bowl? Maybe, but at the same time, I don't think the friction would have happened like it did. The big crack down the middle, and it's funny to me because like I see both sides. Like, was it a good throw? No. Did the wide receiver not attack the ball? Yeah. Was it the play call I would have ran? No. But at the same time, the 2 years before, the Seahawks are down 21-3 against Atlanta in the playoff game. Russell Wilson and the offense come back, take the lead, right? With 30 seconds left, and the vaunted defense lets Atlanta and Matt Ryan come down the field and kick a field goal with 30 seconds to win the game. In 30 seconds. There was no friction by the offense over the defense. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
My personal opinion, when they have a 30 for 30, because they will have a 30 for 30 in, 10, 15 years, which I will be eating popcorn and drinking a pop watching. I guarantee you, a lot of the players disliked Russ and disliked Russ and Pete's relationship.
Yeah.
And that's what I think will happen. Like, I just think that I just think that it was a huge friction. Like, it was interesting. One of the last seasons where the Seahawks played in the playoffs and they got blown out by Atlanta. I don't remember what it was. 2017.
Yeah.
Cam Chancellor was mic'd up and he's yelling at Richard Sherman and Earl Thomas and Michael Bennett, and he's saying every time we fight, we lose. Every time we start losing, we turn on each other.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn. And I think it's because that Seahawks team, that defense was so good, right? But it had too many alphas. You know what I mean? It made it good, don't get me wrong. When everything was going good and they're young and hungry and they were winning and they won a Super Bowl and they went back and people thought they were going to win a Super Bowl again, it was all good. Like, the alphas worked with each other. But then once you start losing, it's finger pointing. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like Madden players to me. Not saying Madden players are alphas. Some are. But my point is, when they're winning, the game is awesome, right? Love Madden.
Yeah.
When they're losing, the game's broke, it's stupid, everybody's a bot. And it's kind of like, that's what I feel like with the Seahawks, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I never heard of the story where someone broke his hand until just now.
Oh, you never heard that story?
Nah, I never heard that until now. So that's it. So that's interesting to me. And then I heard, like, did you see the interview that Marshawn Lynch and Pat McAfee did together?
No, but I might
uh,
have read about it.
Yeah. Well, in that, I guess they said that Marshawn Lynch kind of like basically he just like partied the whole night after they lost. So
It's because I think it's whatever. Like, it sucks, but it's life.
yeah, it didn't really matter to him too
Yeah,
much.
see,
But
Luke Wilson, former Seahawks tight end, candidly admits he wouldn't have called the play, which resulted in an interception by Malcolm Butler on the 1 yard line. He said, I'm running the ball with Marshawn Lynch.
yeah,
He said he wasn't mad at the play call, but said the interception was a terrible moment. Wilson portrayed
yeah,
and this is Luke Wilson, the tight end. He portrayed a scene of an angry
right.
locker room saying players were demanding answers from coaches, and a star player punched a locker so hard it broke his hand.
Yeah. I've never. So I guess more people were upset. Like, did they ever did someone ever come out and kind of say like, hey, this is what we saw on this play or something? Like, did they try to give an explanation about it or not really? Did they?
About did the Seahawks come out and do the play call, or is that what you're asking?
Well, I'm just saying, like, did they ever like try to, I guess, justify the play call, saying like what they saw on the play?
They just said that they would do it again. It was the right play call. Just better
Okay.
execution. The problem was that Brandon Browner knew what was going to happen. Brandon Browner knew
Yeah, what
the
was
play from
coming.
years
Yeah.
past, and he played with them. Like me, I would have shoved the ball down Marshawn Lynch's throat and been like, "Here you go, man. Take it.
Yeah.
Do it for the city." But it didn't happen, and unfortunately, they kind of screwed it all up. They kind of screwed the dynasty up, and I think, like I said, man, I think that if Marshawn Lynch would have fumbled the ball or gotten stopped 3 times in a row, they wouldn't have had time to do 3 runs in a row. But my point is, I don't think there'd been an issue. I don't think they would have broken apart like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean and also to be fair, it was a good play by Malcolm Butler too on that ball. So
It was definitely a great play. The thing is, if the throw
yeah,
was a better throw and lower, it's not a
yeah,
pick. Um, and it was a good play at the same time. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I hear you. Yeah. So um, but yeah. So have you ever gotten to that point like not in Madden or nothing, but maybe when you were I guess younger, because I know you used to play sports and stuff like that. Have you ever got mad playing sports and ended up punching a locker or a wall or something like that? So,
Um, you know, like when I played on a team sport, like where it mattered, not like rec league.
yeah,
No, man. I I was a pretty good teammate, man. There might have
yeah,
been times in my head where I'm like, damn, he effed up. You know what I mean? Like I'll
yeah,
use this. I was a soccer goalie, right, and a pretty damn good one. Like I'm not trying to pat myself
yeah,
on the back, but I was being looked at by a D1 school at the time, right? And
right.
I was doing really good. I was. We had just gone to. You know where OMAC is?
No, is it in Washington
Yeah, it's
or?
like in Central
Yeah,
Washington.
right,
And
right.
we were going down there, and our coaches said, "Hey, if we get blown out, we get blown out. Just try hard, right?"
Yeah,
And they were like a 5A school. We were a 3A or a 4A school at the time, so they're a bigger school. He goes, but
yeah,
enjoy the experience, right? Enjoy the experience. You're gonna get to play on a beautiful field, um,
yeah,
and all this stuff, right? So we show up, bro. We pull up the bus, and like that field was amazing, right? So like it looked
yeah.
like a college scene. It was AstroTurf. Their fans were like just loud as can be, and we ended up tying 0-0. Like I had a penalty kick save. I did awesome. I actually got an ovation from the other side, team. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm just throwing that out there to show you kind of what I'm talking about in the next story. So fast forward after that, I'm getting talked about. I'm one of the best goalies in Eastern Washington. We're playing a team that we should beat, right?
Yeah.
My guy scores 2 goals on me. My own guy.
Yeah. That's rough.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
came out sliding for the ball, and he tried to slide tackle towards
Yeah.
the goal and kicked it in both times. And I never got on him. I patted him on the back and was like,
Yeah.
"You're good. It happens to the best of us." Because I remember when I was a freshman, man, and they had me starting goalie for the JV team, and I was nervous as can be, man. I came out and I jumped on the soccer ball, and it popped out of my hands and rolled behind me and rolled into the goal. It was a crap
Yeah.
show. Everything happened. Like every athlete will have an embarrassing moment.
Yeah.
It's how you respond and how you treat your teammates. And you know what? After
Yeah.
that game, that kid had my back no matter what. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like he'd stick up for me in the locker room. It was is all good. Like now, if he would have came across and talked crap to me, I might have gotten fired up. But
Yeah.
honestly, I just kind of wore it on my shoulders. Like I would have went home and been like, and I'd go home and be like, what could I have done better? You know what I mean? Like when I played baseball, like could have I had that extra base hit? You know what I mean? Could I have hit that hit ball? I didn't really blame other people, and I didn't destroy locker rooms or anything.
Yeah, so basically you played soccer throughout your well, I think I remember you said that you didn't play your senior year.
Yeah, and that was really really dumb, man. You know where EW is?
Yeah, Eastern Washington, yeah.
The college. Well,
Yeah.
they were the one looking at me. And right before my senior year, or during my senior year, right before the season started, my coach introduced me to the head coach at EW, and the EW coach said, "We're looking at you. We'll be watching you."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Hell yeah!" And then then I started chasing girls, and I was a dumbass. Pardon my language, but
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. And so yeah, so I played throughout my whole high school, man. I mean, except my senior year.
Yeah. So how was like because I never like I probably played soccer probably like once or whatever, but there's a lot of people, I guess probably not now, but do you think that back when you played, people kind of looked down on the sport and kind of said that it was, kind of feminine in a way,
Uh,
um,
you know,
back then?
I never got that feeling,
Yeah.
honestly. And I know the whole joke is like you touch a player, they throw themselves on the ground, all that stuff, and
Yeah.
like they're soft, blah blah blah. I never got that feeling, and maybe it's because like I came from a town where soccer and baseball were the big thing. Football was too, but like they were just a sports town. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
was a smaller town at the time. They're way bigger now, but I mean, but our soccer team was trash. And to be
Yeah.
fair, like if I wanted to ever like rip on my team, like when I was in, I played for a traveling team because I was good enough. But our team was trash, and when I say trash, I mean like New York Jets trash this year.
Yeah.
I would get like 30 shots on me a game, and you don't play soccer, right? You said you only played it once. You know anything about it?
Yeah. I don't know much about it
Okay, so
now,
you're supposed to
so
allow like 4 to 6 shots a game is average.
right.
That's how many the goalie needs to save usually.
Yeah.
I averaged about 30 shots on me. I would get standing ovations, and I'd feel like crap because we'd lose like 2-0 or 3-0 or 1-0, and I'd have a phenomenal game, but I feel like crap because I'm like, damn, if I didn't allow any, it'd be 0-0. You know what I mean? But the opponent's teams
Yeah.
fans would give me a standing ovation, bro. Like I'm not lying, I'm not fronting, I'm not trying to be cool. I'm just saying like they knew what I'd been through with that. So yeah, so if I wanted to ever trash my team, because
Yeah.
there was a time that a kid said, "Oh yeah, you gave up 3 goals," and I'm like, man, I give up like 31 shots, and the other team's fans were standing up of ovation for
Yeah.
me, and the kid's like, "Yeah, well, you could have stopped all of them then." And he was on my team, and I just shook my head,
Yeah.
and my coach pulled me aside and said, you did your best. Don't worry about what people say. They're just upset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like we even played EW soccer team, bro. My junior year, uh, before um before the season started, and it was really, man, it was really cool. We lost like 2-1. We lost 2-1. I gave up 2 goals. One was on a rebound. One was on a fast break. One
Yeah.
one play, man, like the EW's team were like slapping me on my back and giving me props because one of their star players came down and he had a one-on-one and he kicked it and I saved it and he kicked it again and I saved it. Then his other teammate came and slapped it and I like slapped the ball down and then I jumped on it and they like slapped me on the back. It was a cool moment, you know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
really really neat, and like I'm not gonna say like I'm the greatest goalie of all time. I'm just saying like I could have easily reacted and been like, look, you guys suck. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you guys don't even have defense. You guys don't help me at all. But I mean, when I was in organized sports, it's not a good look. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you. So when you're a goalie, do you just kind of like is your main responsibility to try to when they kick the ball there, try to not let them score,
Yeah, and then
basically.
at times I set up the defense.
Yeah,
So like a free kick or an indirect kick, that's where the other team has a free kick. A direct kick is they don't have to touch the ball before kicking it on goal. An indirect kick is when the player has to touch it to one of his teammates before he shoots. But I build a wall. So like I tell five players to stand in one area, right?
right.
And then I yell out loud like keeper or goalie when I'd go for the ball. I never had like the strongest leg. I'd usually have my defensive back kick the ball for me when it was out of bounds, like goal kicks to kick it out, to kick it to midfield.
Hmm.
But other than that, man, like it was like funny. Okay, funny stories. Since we're on this topic, right? So I'm
Yeah,
like, me and my brother talking crap because my brother played forward, I played goalie, right? But we're
yeah,
years apart. We're like 5.5 years apart. So we like about 7 years ago or 6 years ago, we go to this park, and my brother's like, "I'll shoot on you," and I'm like, your ego's still there, and like, yeah, I'll
yeah,
stop it. And he kicked it, and my body was like, I'm not diving for this crap. Nope.
yeah,
And I was like, damn, it's weird, bro. It's a weird feeling, like, because when I was like 14 to 18, I would have been diving. You know what I mean? I would have
yeah,
been, and my body was like, nope.
yeah.
I'm
Not
not going
today.
down for
Not.
that.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Um, but yeah, I mean the one sport that kind of looks fun though that I've never tried is rugby. That looks like it could be kind of cool, but
Rugby would be cool. I remember playing tackle football, bro. We'd go out to the park, man, like an airway. It was like 20 minutes, half an hour, 20 minutes, I'll say, from my
yeah,
house where I lived in the country, and we'd go play football, bro. And we'd have like, high school football players playing too, and like, and we'd tackle and we'd hit, man. I remember one time, bro, I almost died. Like I felt like I was dying. I got the worst concussion of all time when I was living with my girlfriend, who's my wife now. And
yeah,
we're lucky I didn't die of a head injury through the night. And I'm not joking you. Like I'm being like dead honest. Like we weren't using pads or anything. It's just tackle football outside. And I was about 150 pounds at the time. And we had our buddy who's like was like 230 at the time, right?
yeah,
Just like a big like moose. And me and my two buddies are like, okay, when he comes across the middle on that slant, we gonna rock him, right? They're like,
yeah,
yeah, but they're small like me, right? They're skinny like me and
yeah,
small. And here it comes, quick slant to him. My two friends duck out of the way, just let him run. I lower
yeah,
my shoulder, bro. He trucks me. My head smacks off the hard winter ground. I'm holding onto his legs. He's dragging me, and finally he breaks free and scores. But like, I mean, like if you would have been like, damn, Shane got trucked. But at least like, man, I put my, you know what I mean? I put my body into it, and I got wrecked. I mean, there was a guy who was 80 pounds heavier than me with ease, and my head smacked off right. So then I had to go to work in the evening, and I was throwing up all over. And
right,
I
right,
get home and I'm throwing up all over and I'm dizzy and I don't know what's going on. I just lay in bed and like I keep throwing up and like finally I fall asleep for like 10 hours and I wake up and like I realize now I was like 20 then. I realize how lucky I was. I'm not like I believe that was a severe concussion
right.
because you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It bounced off the head, but man, there was nothing more fun than, I mean, and I know kids do it nowadays. I mean, I think they do. Like, I think they go outside and play sports with each other for fun. I mean,
Yeah, I mean they do. But I remember like when I was in school, you couldn't really. I mean, you could play two-hand touch, but you weren't allowed to play tackle football at recess or nothing like that. So,
elementary school, we were allowed to play tackle football,
and no one got hurt because of that or nothing.
No, one kid, my best friend at the time, tore his whole knee up. Like, he had to go have surgery
Oh
because he got
damn.
tackled so
Yeah.
hard that he fell on, the sprinkler head,
Yeah.
and his knee was like flapping, like skin was flapping off. It was gross. But
Yeah.
nobody got in trouble, man. Like I'm being honest, and I'm older than you, and
Yeah.
like it was a different era. Like kids would fist fight each other at recess. My buddy Derek would always fight my friend at the time, Ryan. Right? Every recess they'd fight each other. It didn't matter if we were playing soccer, basketball, baseball, football. They'd just start brawling with each other. Like
Yeah.
5 minutes into the game, bro. Recess time, they just start punching each other. Teachers would come break it up. What happens now? They get sent home or in trouble, right?
Yeah.
No, they just miss the next recess.
Yeah,
And that's it. And then move on.
Yeah.
The craziest thing that ever happened to me when I was in elementary school is the rock and the snowball incident.
The rock and the snowball incident. Okay. Okay.
So it was, bro, it was like one of those, I think, 10 or 11 years old.
Okay.
Actually, no, I wasn't 11. I was in elementary. I like telling the story like with truth behind it. I think maybe 9 or 10. That would have been better, like 4th or 5th grade, because we only went to 5th grade in elementary. And it was snowing out, and they didn't really stop us like from throwing snowballs. They just say don't hit each other in the face, right?
Yeah.
Well, one of my friends was pegging girls with rocks, with snowballs, or the snowball with rocks in it.
Okay.
Hit a girl in the.
So there were snowballs with rocks in it, basically.
Yes, like so if you get a
Yeah.
rock, you know what I mean, and then roll it in snow. So the
Yeah,
snow's
then
on the
you got
outside, the rock's on
yeah.
the inside.
So you got a snow rock. Got
Yeah,
it.
basically. And I mean, one of my friends got lit up. She was a girl, and she got hit in the forehead, and she had a lump. They took us all inside,
Jesus. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they made us every. That was the one time they put their foot down, and for a week straight, they kept us inside at the library, and they wanted to know who threw it, right?
Yeah.
But my friend knew who threw it, but she never told because it was one of our friends too.
Right.
So we just kept sitting there and we're like, I don't know, I don't know. And I remember we had a kindergarten brawl too. Crazy
Kindergarten
story.
brawl.
Like, one kid was picking on my friend. I told him to quit,
Yeah.
leave my friend alone. And then like half the room was wrestling with each other, and the other half was wrestling. It was like two sides, and they're just wrestling. It was no like punching or like, you know what I mean. It was more like
Yeah.
when little kids when they're wrestling because they're mad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
teacher came back and was like, "Everybody stop!" And then what started it? Nobody ratted. It was so crazy, like in elementary school, how like there wasn't really tattletales, man, and there wasn't really like you could play football and tackle, and you could throw snowballs as long as it was above or below the neck. It was pretty. It was just a different era. It doesn't mean that it was right. It doesn't mean it was wrong. Some things I feel are soft nowadays, and then some things I'm like, yeah, it's probably better that you know what I mean, that they don't allow that anymore. Like I
Right.
got
Right.
hazed my freshman year in soccer. They would never allow that now, or allow it to happen. They might turn the other way. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, it's probably a like if it is going on, then it's probably like a toned down version of
like
it.
for example,
Like,
like my freshman year, right? We're playing soccer,
yeah,
and my coach just said, "Okay, it's a free for all," and I had no idea what happened, and they had put down like 36 eggs, right?
yeah,
And I'm just standing there like, what the hell? And people grabbed me, the upperclassmen grabbed me and smashed eggs all over my hair, all over my face, all over my shoulders.
yikes,
And I was
yikes,
like, I was so upset, bro. Like, and I was so pissed. And the coaches were just laughing. Like some players were getting so mad.
yeah,
And the players were just like it was just I don't know, it was different. Like I just can't see coaches being okay with it now, but maybe they would.
yeah. there's some stuff. I mean, I guess it just depends on the situation, but at the same time, I think that what I've kind of came to a conclusion to is, I guess these days is like you can't really tell someone what they can and can't be offended by, because you're not gonna change their mind one way or another. So if one person is like super sensitive and something bothers them that doesn't bother you, then that's just what it is. So,
Yeah, it's just a little bit different. Like I said, man. Like I know they took away kickball or whatever for a while, which was a little odd to me. And like growing up, we kept score and we knew who won and
yeah,
lost, and like they didn't do that unless we signed up for a traveling team for my son because they didn't want people to know who won or lost. And I don't know. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, you should keep score, but at the same time, Pop Warner, like, I don't know if how I feel about if, that stuff should be as competitive as it is. I mean,
I coached there. I told you that, right?
yeah, 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 you told me that. And I know, and I remember you said that, like if there's kids that kind of wanted to play for fun, that then there was a separate league for them to do that. But at the same time, I just don't really see why it should be that kind of competitive. But
I'm I was a little in between. Like I know if I
yeah,
was that age, I would have wanted to play competitively, right? I'd
yeah,
want to
yeah,
win. I wouldn't want to be pussyfooting around and be like, "Oh well, don't know the score, but I do know the score." You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
And but at the same time, I how parents acted like their kid was the next Jerry Rice, the next Tom Brady, it was
yeah,
ridiculous, bro.
yeah.
I like it was horrible, and like I would get booed. Like the last game, I was getting booed from my own fans or my own. It was horrible.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty bad, especially considering the fact that, like the people that coach, Pop Warner and stuff, they're doing it for free. So it's like they don't have to be there. Like they're not getting a paycheck,
No,
for
man,
it.
they didn't even, bro. They didn't even thank me for taking care of their sorry butt kids.
Yeah, so no one thanked you at all. They just
No, man,
left.
and the
Yeah.
kids weren't even that good. We
Yeah.
had the youngest team. We were outweighed by like 20, 30 pounds. That's how ridiculous Pop Warner was. So if you get a young team, right, you're a bunch of 9-year-olds playing a bunch of 11, almost 12-year-olds.
Right. Right.
And like one guy's like, "You're running the same play. This ain't Madden." So I looked back at him. I
Yeah.
said, "We have 28 points. Maybe talk about the defense." Which then I was like, "Man, that shut up, Shane. Just start coaching."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it
it was
was.
I don't it was not fun. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that right now. Like it was not a fun experience. Like
Yeah.
I'll always remember and always enjoy. I'll always enjoy coaching my son.
Yeah, but other than that, you don't miss it at all.
No, I don't miss it
So,
because the kids aren't as good as their parents think. You know what I mean? Were there some players that
right.
are really good? Yeah, there was. But was there one where I was like, "Oh my gosh, he's gonna be the next Joe Montana or Jerry"? You know what I mean? No, not
Yeah.
really. Not really. Even the best players on our team that would run around our whole team, they didn't even do anything. They didn't even play high school sports. So you're really trying to fight it like 9 to 12-year-olds. The parents are screaming at coaches. Um, the coaches and players are going to be it was ridiculous. Like, I mean, it wasn't for. I don't know how to explain it. Like, if you're gonna pay me, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm getting paid to bring your team to the next level. Okay, but like some of the stuff, like them bad mouthing me about like my coaching ability, actually, it was silly because I mean, you can't do that much when you have a bunch of young kids that are going against 11, 12-year-olds. That's why I think there should be a 9, 10-year-old league, 11, 12, you know what I mean? Not
Yeah.
9 to 11. Like, think about you at 11 compared to 9. I mean, that's just not fair to me. But yeah, Pop Warner is a little bit overboard. Like me, I would have been able to handle it. I would have been able to handle it because
Yeah.
growing up, I had to go to soccer practice 5 days a week. It's
Yeah.
5 days a week, man, 3 to 5:30.
Yeah.
So I mean, I
Exactly.
would have been able to handle it, but like, yeah, it was a little over the top. So if your kid is not a kid who's super competitive, you know what I mean? Put them in the
Yeah.
Y. Put them in the YMCA. Let them have fun.
Yeah. Exactly. So do you still keep in contact? Like, how many other coaches were there when you were on there?
There was a few others. There was my buddy, and then a couple others. A couple others took like one kid stopped playing. The one coach didn't coach again. And then
Yeah.
the other
Yeah.
coach was like, "This is bull crap. We pick up their kids and take them to and from practice because some of the parents couldn't afford it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Exactly.
they
So.
and they treated us like crap. So one of them went to YMCA.
Right. YMCA, is that like kind of like the Boys and Girls Club type kind of
Yeah,
thing,
it's like
or
fun. Like
yeah,
it's for fun, and like don't get me wrong, but like at the same time, I can't scream at 9 and 10-year-olds. I just I
yeah, it's
just
it's
can't.
not in you, yeah,
Like, I
yeah,
mean, I watch some coaches like, get your head out of your ass, blah blah blah, and I'm just like,
yeah,
damn, man. Like one kid, dude, we were coaching tiny mites, right? And my buddy, he's like,
yeah,
he came from Compton. He like played football growing up. He was a star player for damn, I can't remember his school in Compton. Started with a D. He was like a superstar before things happened in life. Well, anyways, he's yelling at the players, right? Like, oh, you need to
yeah,
run, you need to push it. You guys are being soft, and these are like 5 and 6-year-olds, right?
right, right,
And I'm like, I look at him like, damn, man, that 6-year-old's looking at the airplane. And I really, it's not like, dude, it's
yeah,
totally different. Like the 6-year-old was really watching the airplane above. One of the 5-year-olds was picking grass.
oh
Like
wow, yeah,
I'm just saying, like they're so young, man. Like they're
yeah,
young. Like well, then they shouldn't be playing in Pop Warner at that age. They're just trying to have fun. They look like a bunch of bobbleheads out there.
yeah,
Little
exactly,
small bodies
yeah,
with the huge
yeah,
helmets, and it's just supposed to be like cute and fun. Like at 12,
yeah,
13, 14, 15, okay, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
But like, yeah. Oh, it was a crap show, bro.
yeah. Okay, so I guess with that we could now transition to the poll question. Which this one should be kind of fun. This is going to be the dumbest purchase that we have ever made. Um, so Shane, could you think of a purchase you made that wasn't a good purchase?
I mean, yeah, it's gonna sound. It's not as bad if I would have gotten the item, but it's way better that I didn't get the item. At the time, I had a close friend. I didn't know he was shady, right?
Mm,
So he says that he can get me a nice gun, right,
right, right.
for like $400, and I'm working at a private school at the time, and
Okay. Yeah.
I give him $400. He says he'll go buy it. He'll bring it back after work for me. He never showed up. He never answered my phone. That's the dumbest purchase I've ever had because I just
No.
gave somebody $400 for no reason. So
So
that's
you
my
got
dumbest purchase.
so you So you got scammed,
Yeah, I
basically.
basically got scammed, man. Like, yeah, it was a little rough. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
What about you?
Okay. Okay, so for me, it would probably have to be more recently. Um, I recently got a new phone, but before that, I had, a phone, and I didn't realize at the time that they switched most of the phones to be USB-C cables instead of micro USB, which is what my phone was. And by the way, I'm infamous for just breaking phone chargers and them breaking on me, so I always have to buy more of them. But anyway, so so I go to the store, I buy a phone cable, come home and know that it doesn't fit, it's too big. That's what she said. But then but then but then I do that like two or three times before I realized what was going on, and then I went to Staples one day, and then they said, yeah, it takes micro USB. So, but anyway, I got a new phone now that does the USB-C stuff. So I'm done with that fiasco. But yeah, it was, and they're expensive too. They're like $20 to $30 a pop or something like that. So
I got another one. Mutt packs, bro.
we
Oh my
can't
god.
we can't leave out butt packs. Yeah, I
Like,
mean, yeah.
anyway,
When
yeah, I mean that's rough. That's tough, man. Like, I was trying to figure out like one time I bought a cell phone like, and it was back in the day when they're like brick phones almost,
yeah.
and I put it on top of my car and drove off, and it was
And
like
then yeah.
it was the first week I had bought it, and I put it on top of my car. I pull into like this busy kind of street, and I drive, and I'm like, oh snap! And I look in the rear view, and the red phone goes flying off my car and bounces on the ground. But there's nobody around. There's like a couple cars coming, and you know what the weirdest thing that I would never do now is I just kept driving.
You were just like, screw it. It's broken. Yeah.
Like I didn't even try to go back. Like now I'd be like, I'll I would reverse, and yeah, maybe because the phone was probably like $30 or $20. I don't even remember, but I just
Yeah.
remember it was on the roof of my car, and I looked in the rear view and it goes flying off, and I'm like, whatever.
You're like, oh, there goes the phone. Okay, keep driving.
Right, and like now I'd be like, oh my god, run. And now, but I didn't care. I didn't really care because phones weren't that big of a deal at that time either.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we had four phones
Now,
in high school.
yeah, now they're everywhere. I remember like the first phones that I kind of grew up with was like the ones where like it was where you it had the keyboard that you kind of popped up with the screen and then you texted like that. So
I had that too. That was later on, and I kept that phone for I think for a while, like 5 6 years. Like this one is my most expensive one, and it costs like I don't know $700 or $800, and it
is it an
goes.
iPhone or an Android?
It's Samsung S20, whatever the hell that is,
Okay, yeah.
but it's
Yeah,
really nice.
yeah, iPhone won't get sent for me. Um also more recently I purchased I don't know if you heard about them. Like they're on YouTube. Everyone's like sponsored by them, but Raycon earbuds.
Mm-mm.
Oh, they're kind of like AirPods, like wireless like they're Bluetooth earbuds that you charge and then you can listen to them, and they're pretty good
Okay.
actually. Have you ever had like any like headphones like that, like Beats by Dre or nothing like that? Because
No.
that was a big hit when I was younger. I had like two pairs. So,
No,
yeah.
bro, I never did. You know, one of the purchases that I had, like, that I remember I was in middle school and like this school bully, right? He was a bully.
Yeah.
He was not a friendly kid, and I pull up with my mom had just bought me a Tamaguchi. Have you ever heard of a Tamaguchi or a Yamaguchi or whatever they're called?
Yeah, isn't it like a clothing thing or
Tamagotchi or whatever.
yeah?
No, I don't know what it's called, man. It's something like that. Anyways,
Yeah,
I couldn't play in that early because I had broke or PE because I had broken my finger. So they said you just have to sit on the bleachers. I pull out and start
yeah,
playing. And I see him coming over. I'm like, ah, damn, man. Like he had already gone through puberty. I hadn't.
yeah.
And then he sits down. He's like, "Can I see it?" And I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "I just want to see it, man." And I'm like, "All right." And he plays it a little bit, gives it back to me, and then he was nice to me from then on. I have no. Anyways, it was a pointless story, but like I don't know. Yeah.
You're thinking that he's gonna steal it or something, but for
Or
some
like
reason,
cause trouble,
yeah,
man. Or
yeah.
like, you know. Oh, I almost said a story that I would have gotten in trouble for. Never mind. I can't. Moving on.
Moving on, yeah, for sure. So I guess with that being said, I think that I'm pretty much out of everything. Well, I'm gonna probably, do the usual, closing out and, stuff like that. But aside from that, I don't really have anything else to say.
Uh,
Do you have
yeah.
anything else to say? Or?
Tune in if you guys hear it tonight for the Madden Classic
Yeah.
tomorrow, February 27th, 2 p.m. Pacific time, to watch me, cheer for me, root me on, to try to make the next step, make some more money, yada yada. Hopefully, you guys can tune in at single elimination. Good luck to my boy Soul Crusher. Unless I run into you, then I'm gonna have to smash you. but
Yep.
but
Yep.
other than that, I mean, no, I mean just tune in. It's gonna be popping tomorrow, man. It's gonna be competitive. I'm playing a semi-pro tomorrow, or you could call him a guy like me if you want to call me a pro. You can say he's a pro, but whatever. But not a top pro. He's favored to win, but I barely have played him. I don't know if I've ever played him. So, like I said, it's all matchups. And then the second round game is another little pro guy. The third game, if I won, would be 818. I'm trying to figure out which 818 crew member it is. His name's Jeeper
So,
Creepers 818.
okay, so Jeepers, yeah. So I guess Jeepers Creepers, when he's not, busy, killing people and taking their eyes out, that then he's playing Madden in his spare time, apparently. So,
Yeah, and he's really good at it because he's 12th. He's 12th
yeah,
ranked.
yeah.
So that's
So,
that. And then we also have the Madden Challenge coming up in about a month. It's a MUT draft. I'll be doing that. I think Trey's going to be doing that. Well,
yeah,
if I don't have to have back surgery at that time. So, like,
yeah.
this year's just been weird. But other than that, I don't have anything else to say. Trey,
No, nothing really. Like Shane said, be sure you tune in tomorrow at 2 p.m. To watch him stream and I mean, it's kind of, kind of a, like, I guess I can say it, but it's been kind of dead lately in terms of, Madden and stuff like that. But, hopefully we'll get some, I heard that there was some Madden 22 news. Well, it was a leak about Derrick Henry and stuff like that. So, but yeah, we appreciate you guys for always checking out the podcast, and I hope you guys have a good weekend and yeah, we'll see you guys next Thursday,
yeah, it'll
hopefully,
be
with
March.
everything.
It'll be
Yeah,
March, bro.
it'll be March, yep.
So,
I'll
you
be
know,
I'll be 24 on the 17th, so we
ooh,
got
young
that.
buck. Young
Yeah.
buck. I'll be 84 in July. So we'll just leave it at that. So,
84, yeah.
all right, you guys. I'm Shanegotyou11, and Trey was with me like always. I appreciate y'all. Tune in tomorrow, man. Let's get it. This is a West Coast podcast. We will see you in March.